Hello everyone and welcome to this new Neoswing video tutorial in English. Today I'm gonna show you one of the most iconic Neoswing moves that I like to call side shuffle. So let's get straight to dance time.
Swing on, brother, swing. Come on, the swing begins. Swing on, brother, swing. Don't stop, swing begins.
Now this move is quite tricky, because not only you have to rotate your feet both around the heel and around the toe, but while one foot rotates around the heel, the other one rotates around the toe, which means that your feet need to be independent. So if you are beginners, I think that some warm-up may be useful. So you start in this position, you put one foot on the heel and the other foot on the toe, and then you exchange them. And you do something like this. Now I know this is not very comfortable, but if you do it, you will learn the move faster. Okay, but now the move. Well, you start in this position with your feet at 45 degrees and you decide if you want to go left or right. Now if you want to go left, I will call this foot the external foot because you are going this way. So you lift the toe of the external foot and the heel of the other foot. You rotate both and you don't lay them down because you have to come back to this position. Whereas if you want to go right, you lift the toe of the external foot, so this one, and the heel of the other foot. You rotate both. You don't lay them down because you have to come back to this position. So you can do something like this. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Or even something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Which looks like this at normal speed. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Okay, now let me tell you some tips. First of all, don't use your hands too soon, because otherwise you may mess up your feet movements. Then second tip, don't be ashamed to look at your feet, because this is the way to learn. Third tip, be careful what you do, because everyone does this movement correctly, I mean this one, but when they come back, they usually do something like this and not like this, which is bad because from this position you don't have the tension and the energy to do something like this, because you're just you know. But let's move on. If you remember, I said that when you do this movement you should not lay down your feet, and that's because if you do it you will lose time and you will lose speed, which is not very good. However, you have to lay down your feet if you want to do something like this. Well, to do this kind of variation, you start like this. Let's say you want to go right, so you lift the toe of the external foot and you do something like this. Then you lay down your feet and you lift the toe of the internal foot and the heel of the other foot, and you rotate, you lay them down, you lift the toe of the external foot, and then the toe of the internal foot, and so on. When you've mastered this movement, you can do even some crazy things like this. I don't know, you can really do whatever. Well, finally, let's see the last variation I showed you in the clip, which is this one. To do it, you just have to get in this position, so not this position, but this position, and you choose one foot, for example this one, you turn it around the toe, and meanwhile you have to lift the other foot. So you do something like this. And 1, then you turn the other foot around the toe and you lift this foot. So and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Okay? Now please note that the normal side shuffle starts with 1, whereas the variation we just saw starts with and 1. That means that you can mix them together. For example, you can do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you are in this position, so you can go on and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and so on. Well, I would say that we are done for today, and see you in the next episode.